is May 12th, 2025, and right now across the United States, well, I said a couple days ago that it was not as crazy when I made it. It's a lot different now. We have lots of stuff going across the country. So the East Coast, we're gonna talk about in this video about a bunch of flooding. We do have a bunch of those flood watches all across the East Coast. We do have red flag warnings placed across states near Canada and states near Mexico with a lot of wind too with that and heat and maybe even some snow, within the Rocky Mountains. So we have quite the action going on across the country right now. Now, surprisingly, the action is not the severe weather. However, we do have a marginal risk kind of up here in Montana, North Dakota, as well as the southeast here. Yesterday we did have some, slight risk complications going on around here. Well, actually, no. Actually, most of that was actually up here in the Northwest, where we saw some severe weather in Montana. I just forgot to make a video, however. But Saturday, when I didn't really make the video, there was a large and extremely dangerous tornado on the ground, right along Alabama and Florida, on Saturdays. So there's that. Then for mainly our big risk is just a risk of everything. So, tornado, we still have that 2% risk. Same thing with hail, it's still there. And then also with the wind, it's still there. Up here in this Northwest, I really don't think we're going to see anything much really severe like. The biggest problem is actually going to be flooding and not severe weather. So today, we have this large slight risk that goes all the way up into Virginia and West Virginia from Florida. We do have a 40% chance moderate risk for flooding down here near Miami, so that could definitely be a problem for sure. And then the slight risk is up to a 15% chance, and that goes all the way up to the Virginias. So we definitely could be seeing some of that action too. Now for day 2, it's most likely not really more of a southeast, it's more of a mid-Atlantic event. So you guys in DC, Baltimore, Richmond, so Virginia, basically Western Maryland, Eastern West Virginia, and Southern Pennsylvania will experience a slight risk of heavy rainfall. Now this is plus with the excessive rainfall that we already had on day 1. So this could definitely add up real quickly to be quite a bit of rain. For day 3, I don't think they're certain yet. They put out a 5% chance for the northern plains here and the mid-Atlantic. These could definitely get upgraded. However, day 3 is still a little off. So still anything could change no matter what. So we got to keep an eye on these spots still. Now, real quickly, I do want to go over climate because stuff has definitely changed. So, throughout the northern part of all Midwest, northern Great Plains, all Rocky Mountains, and the Pacific Northwest could be seeing cooler than average temperatures. And then we might have above average temperatures here in the South, the Mid-Atlantic, and a little bit of the New England portion, as well as California, where we could be seeing warmer than average temperatures. And then think of this as the battle zone here for severe weather, where all the temperatures are going to be meeting. With most of the precip, I said this last time, but most of the country is going to be above average with precipitation. However, stuff in the South, so California, New Mexico, Texas, and Florida, you need to watch out for those drier than average temperatures, precipitation that we might be seeing. Now, it's a little bit interesting considering that we do have that 40% flood threat around Miami, and specifically that's where all the dry stuff are. Now, for the temperature, it seems like that we're going to have the battle zone of north and south. The northern part having cooler than average temperatures. And they do actually seem to be pretty certain much having this like red color here. Typically, it's like this and this. But they're pretty certain about it being already within 8 to 14 days. So up to between the first and the second week. And then the southern portion of the country here will experience warmer than average temperatures, which is basically, this white stuff is the battle zone here. And then the precip could get a little interesting. Most of the country, again, is going to be above average with precipitation. Besides the western portion of the country near the Pacific Ocean, and as well as Florida still experiencing this drier than average precipitation. Going through the NAM model, we could see that all of this rain is just still going to be pouring throughout the southeast here. This is already going into Wednesday. Probably until Thursday, that's when a lot of the rain will move out and probably will move more into the mid-Atlantic and northeast. So prepare from now to Wednesday about rain for sure. So be mindful of that. In Atlantic, we're going to definitely start seeing stuff here tonight for sure. Now, this is going to go all the way and probably until about Friday. We could have some rain showers lingering, which could definitely add up to those rainfall totals if we do see that. Now, most of this stuff by the weekend is definitely going to move out for sure. So you guys will at least get a break in within the rain. Now, looking throughout rainfall totals, we can see that all the way up to Wednesday, I mean, some areas could still see up to, 5 inches around here. So looking around the Miami area, we may have up to 2 inches. Some parts of Florida here could see up to 3.5, maybe even up to 4 inches. Definitely places around the Carolinas, though, could definitely see up to 5 inches, which could cause really bad problems for sure. Now, it's definitely going to depend if those rain showers just sit there or move really at a certain speed, and also how heavy those rain showers can be for sure. Now, looking at the mid-Atlantic, we can see that rain will start to rise up, and we can see that all these locations, all of this big swath of land will at least experience an inch for sure. Now, it is going to depend on locations to see. So, Baltimore and Washington, you guys could see up to almost 4 inches in some places in between you guys. So places like, the Carolinas, the Virginias, Pennsylvania, Maryland, you guys could be seeing a lot of stuff here, especially around the mid-Atlantic too. So for the mid-Atlantic and the southeast, be prepared for flooding for sure, as it will definitely for sure happen. Right now, across the country as a whole, we're definitely, going to be experiencing stuff. So over here in the plains and the Rocky Mountains, we still see some snow up in the mountains for sure, and we all know that the East Coast is definitely going to be drenched with rain for sure. Now, this low pressure system is going to be moving through, and it will dump some rain for sure in the northeast, so that could definitely add up some totals too from all the weather. And then it kind of just looks like that more low pressure system, another one will kind of go past by the Great Lakes region here, can still dump in more rainfall. So we definitely could be still seeing quite a bit of severe weather and rainfall for quite a while, so that could be something for sure. Then we could also look at what it could look like for all the way at the end of the month. And we could still see, some locations here in the East Coast could still see up to 8 inches. I mean, lots of places over here in the U.S. could still see up to 8 inches. So, any of this red we're still seeing is like a good 2 inches. Any of the purple you see is about an inch. And then anything that's like green and blue is about less than an inch. And we can see that a large swath of like the mid-Atlantic, the Northeast, and even like the Great Lakes in the Midwest and a little bit of the plains could see quite the amount of rainfall. So this, it's something that we do see, in the years. And I've always noticed that, especially months like April, we see a lot of rain for a lot for the country for sure. Anyways, that's going to be it for the weather update video. If you guys like to see another one, make sure you guys like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.